This episode is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Prepare to attack the enemy's control points.
Get behind me, Doctor!
I am fully charged!
You are listening to Control Point, a Team Fortress 2 podcast with Brent Copeland, Eric Fullerton, and Wes Wilson.
Control Point, episode 70, recorded on April 5th, 2009. I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm Wes Wilson.
And I'm Eric Fullerton.
And we are sponsored by lowpings.net. You should all go out and get yourself a server from those guys and let them know we sent you.
Yes, we have 2 of their servers right now, working fine and dandy. So here we are at Control Point number 70.
Yes.
Yay.
20 episodes after number 50.
Yeah, that's right.
It was epic.
Remember way back then when we did 50? That was a good episode.
That was a wild adventure.
Recently we got a lot of feedback because of episode 50. I don't know why suddenly we got all of this new stuff, but thanks again, and leave iTunes comments. I got snuck that in. Anyway, so Easter's very close, so we have here on our desk lots of candy, and we also have a briefcase.
That we do?
Uh-huh.
There's nobody in it, is there?
Let's hope not.
There's a bunch of little people still in there, but I think they got squished by it moving around so much.
Good.
When Spencer tried to get into the briefcase?
Yeah.
So, where's the briefcase? Okay, we have an invisible briefcase today, and we will open it up. And there is someone inside it. It is msleeper.
Dun-da-da-da. That was very
guys.
That was very anticlimactic.
You like that?
It was.
My fanfare? Yes, msleeper is with us today, and we are going to be talking about a certain add-on that he created, and apparently created a lot of controversy behind it. Would you like to explain what it is that you did? What have you created?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure, especially a lot of people here know, it is a TF2 achievement farming Honeypot server, plugin. Basically, the idea of what it does is it's designed to be used on a server specifically set up to attract and block people who farm achievements from any multitude of servers that you as an admin might also run.
Okay, and what exactly is the point of doing that then?
The point of doing that is I and at my community, F7 Lands, we set this up because we're a casual group of people. We don't play, super hardcore. We have, we're a lot less serious about the game, I guess, and none of us really care about being the best and having the unlocks first and everything like that. And we decided to run this so that normal people like me, like a bunch of our admins, like a ton of our regular members who they go to work, they go to school, they hop on for TF2 for a couple hours a day, and they're not screwed over by these people who hop in a farming server 30 minutes after release, have all the unlocks, and they get shafted like that. So the objective was to let our normal our normal casual members not have to worry about interacting with people like that.
Right. I think there's a little irony there in that I think that most people think of achievement farming for the casual people who aren't going to be able to do all those things through extensive play. Right. Mm-hmm. Does that, that seems almost a little like, I don't know, if you were to say which one would be the casual player, to me it would be the achievement farmer, which I think is kind of funny.
Well, see, I disagree on that because, a perfect example is the Scout update that just came out. I got all of the unlocks through absolute normal play and absolute normal maps in like 5 or 6 days. I only, because of, my work schedule, I only get to play for a couple hours a day, and that's late at night once most servers are pretty empty. So I don't have a chance to play with, full servers like most people do during the day. And can earn achievements in a lot better of a situation. And Scout is one of my least played, least favorite,
Join the club.
Yeah. I really like them in TFC, but they changed just the whole dynamic of how Scout works and how it plays and the point of Scout from TFC to TF2. And in that transition, they just lost some of whatever I enjoyed from it. But no, yeah. So, I mean, I think that, just someone who plays TF2 for 2-3 hours a day, just wants to hop on and have fun with friends, earn achievements and say, hey, look, I just, I'm going to think of a good one. A friend of mine, he just got the kill 20 scouts with Natasha, ironically, during the scout time. And, he hadn't farmed that before. He had just gotten Natasha recently, and he got it. And he was like, sweet, I just did this. And, it was just stealing.
That happens to me all the time.
But now, oh, yeah. See, I love when the scout packs come out because they let other people who either don't care about that class or need achievements that are for another class that require the new class that just came out, like the heavies get 20 scout kills. It just provides a lot of cannon fodder to get them out.
We've had this debate before. We have, for the most part, all the hosts here don't feel like achievement farming is any big deal. I do understand a little bit of the thought process behind it in that, like, that first night when I logged on and I wanted to work on some scout achievements, before I farmed, because I totally farmed. I farmed it all over the place. But anyway,
I did too.
But before I farmed for achievements, you log on and all of a sudden the other team has 6 scouts that all have sandmen and nobody's moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
But so I guess to me it's like you're saying, well, it doesn't take that long to get them anyway. So what's the big deal with people farming it and just getting it out of the way?
Because there's no need to. Like, if you can get these achievements,
if there's no need to, why worry about it? If there's, if it takes a few hours to do it, I don't get why it's such a big deal. I mean, to me, it seems like you would rather people go to an achievement server and farm them than, go onto a regular server and sit there and harass people and farm them.
Well, I think that, what you just said has a root of what I found kind of stunning and kind of interesting about this is that it's not a big deal. Like, a lot of people think that I'm sitting here, like, brooding, over these servers, like, oh, those goddamn farmers,
Well, you set up a website where you basically tell people that all these people on here are cheaters and that you should ban them from your server. That's a big deal to me. To me, that's a big deal. It may not be a big deal to you, but it is to me.
I'm not sure what to say to that. There are dozens of communities all over hundreds of communities, I'm sure, all over the internet that have their ban list publicly available. We don't have our standard ban list available. People have asked us for it. Other communities have, and I've given it to them. A lot of the bigger communities do share lists like this because, when you've got demos of people who are legitimately hacking, legitimately glitching in servers, those are people you don't want in the server at all, period.
Right, but you put up a list of names and called them cheaters when they are not cheaters and said ban them.
See, I have to disagree on that. I think that someone who goes into a server specifically set up to earn achievements at an unnatural and enhanced rate is cheating. I don't think it's as bad as wall hacking or aimbotting, and I don't say that it is. I just and this page that I have set up and all the information that I've set all over online, these bans were only temporary. They were 30-day bans. When I first contacted Eric was about the time that they had expired.
But this is on your server, right?
Yeah, correct.
But if you're telling other people that, hey, all these people cheated and you need to ban them right away, how do we know they're going to only be banned for a week?
That is up to them.
That's right, but what I'm saying is you're calling these people cheaters when Gabe Newell himself said these people aren't cheating. He specifically said if people want to get together on a server with friends to crank out achievements, then that's an interesting way to play the game, and as long as they're having fun, they can go ahead and do that.
And let me derail this in one way. Like, let's say you're playing on. I mean, for instance, I know that when the medic achievements came out, there were some really ridiculous achievements in there that there's no reason anyone should ever get them in regular play. like why you would want to Uber a heavy to go around and punch people.
Yeah.
That's just not normal play.
Right.
And so don't get me wrong. I think that there is two ways to look at this. One is that when those people are on a server trying to farm those achievements casually, like when someone says, hey, I need, here, let me, go melee heavy, and you're changing the dynamic of the game. To me, that seems like more destructive to the game than going to the side, doing your achievements and doing it that way. Does that make sense, or have I just been babbling?
No. Like, I understand that, and I'm not saying that that every single achievement that has come out and will come out is designed to teach someone how to play the class, to show off the class's abilities, or things along that line. Some of them are definitely, hey, me and my buddy, from school or from work, or I'm at a LAN party or whatever, hey, let's go do something funny, something stupid, something ridiculous. And then that's what some of these achievements, I wouldn't say are geared towards, but that's how a lot of them are gotten out. Like I'm trying to think of some other ones. That one is totally ridiculous. One of the Scout ones came out that was just totally off the wall. So, I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying, that some of them are more disruptive to gameplay than a lot of other ones are. But I don't think that, still don't think that that's reason to go into a server to do it. Yeah, okay, get Ubered as a scout and bat 2 people to death. That's definitely one I'm never going to get in my entire life.
Yeah.
And any medic who medic's a scout, or excuse me, Uber's a scout like that is definitely, wasting that Uber. But I can see, I'm a friend of mine from school. We get home and we're like, hey, let's hop on a server, and I'm a medic, you're a scout. Let's just do whatever. And he runs around and does it. Oh, he gets an achievement for it. If that makes a little more sense too.
Well, I sort of agree a little bit with the idea of where you're coming from, but I think where Brent is drawing the line here, and where I can sort of see where he's coming from, is that you've got a very fine point on it, and but the casual observer that sees what you're doing isn't necessarily going to put that fine a point on it, and using the term cheater might not be the most constructive way in order to create the positive environment that you want to create. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does.
But before you go on, I do want to say that I could care less about you writing the mod or banning people from your server or doing anything like that. I think my biggest problem is actually the website, where to me it's just like, I mean, there's a picture of Chris Hansen on the front of the page. I mean, he's synonymous with pedophiles. You're basically saying these people have done something horribly wrong. And then you have links to their actual Steam pages, which to me says, well, you must want people to go harass them. Or why else would you have that information there?
Well, I definitely didn't add people's links to their Steam pages so that they can go get harassed. It's actually adding that ability to put that link is just a matter of like 2 or 3 lines in the code. The reason I did it initially is, there were a couple of problems, and I have had people message me saying, hey, I'm on this list. I was new to the game. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't mean to, I hopped in, I got an achievement without realizing it. I wasn't trying to farm. Please take me off. And so it's really easy to click on their thing, go look at their stats, and be like, oh, okay, they don't have any achievements. They weren't farming. I'll go ahead and remove them. So, I mean, that is originally why that was put on there. And like I said, it was trivial to add it. Again, almost any other ban list you'll ever find on any other community has these links. You can look on this. Like I'll just click on one of them. I can click on it and say, oh, okay, I see who this person's friends are. I see what groups they're in. I might look at this one and, like I see someone's in a, grieff2.com. Okay, this person's a part of a griefing community. They're, I might not necessarily still want them around.
Well, how many other TF2 admins have actually taken this compiled list of so-called cheaters and actually banned them?
As far as I'm aware, the people who contacted me directly for it was about 4 or 5.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone just straight up used this list. This list isn't exactly easy to import into any banning software like source bans or anything like that. So I don't know if anyone.
Well, I thought there was also a limit on how many people you could get on a ban list. Like, I thought this would totally eclipse how many people you could really put on a ban list anyway.
Well, it depends on exactly what the server admin is running. On all of our servers, we're running source mod and using a plugin called source bans. Basically, source bans is a shared MySQL based banning software. Excuse me. I think there is a limit on the internal ban for just the source dedicated server, run thing, the ban list.cfg or whatever. I'm pretty sure there is a limit on that, but we don't use that. We use the MySQL banning. And I mean, of course, there's no limit there. Our ban, including these, 3,559, our ban list is somewhere like 6,000 people. So even with these, it was still really high.
So whose idea was this ultimately? Was this your idea or your community's idea?
It was, we actually had talked about this and we're going to try and do it during the heavy update. I didn't get a chance to really get it written and get it working right then. So we had discussed it like months and months and months ago. And actually, there was actually when we finally implemented, there was a little bit of confusion about it, but internally, but that got resolved. But yeah, so it was me and a couple friends of mine who are and are not higher ups in F7. Another one of the founders and just friends. We were talking about it, how do we keep out these people who want to go dick around in a box in a box map for 45 minutes, 30 minutes and get all these unlocks. Right. And, ruin gameplay for everyone else for the next 4 or 5 days. So, it's really difficult to determine,
Okay, but I guess that's still a sticking point to me. How are they ruining your fun if you're not on the achievement server and they are?
Because they leave the achievement server with their unlocks. They leave them with their achievements. And
so because you're not going to have them for 2-4 more hours, that it's so simple to get that's a big deal?
Well, no, that is... I think that's really oversimplifying the thing. And it's missing the point I'm making here is, there's no need for anyone to go in an achievement box and do it. Well, the people who want to do it are impatient or say that they don't have enough time when they're really easy to get. And I just think that it ruins the whole point of why you want to go or why these achievements were put out there.
I know our group. I don't know if other groups do this, but we plan the event. We actually have fun because it's actually a lot more work than you even make it out to be a lot of times to actually get things working right. And you actually learn teamwork in doing this if you do it in a way that I know that we do in our community. And to me, you're just saying, "Oh, y'all are a bunch of cheaters," and that's offensive to me.
I don't know what to say. I mean, as I guess has been reiterated, no one is being forced to use this. No one is being forced to agree with me. I didn't go out and send this list to other admins. I wasn't like, hey, because I was listening on one of your guys' podcasts, and I think Eric, you had this as a concern. It wasn't like I was going out and saying, hey, you need to ban these people right now. This was completely
It says ban them now. It says these are known achievement farmers. Ban them now. That's not a passive statement. That is calling for people to be banned. And you yourself have said y'all have unbanned these people, but you're still asking people to ban these people. Why not remove all these names from the list at this point?
What I mean is that I didn't send an email to anyone saying, go to this page, download this plugin, run this ban list. If someone finds it on Allied Mods, if someone finds it, on Steam, if someone finds it at our site and they want to go here and use this list, that's up to them. But I didn't go out and shop this to people. I didn't send this to server admins. I didn't push anyone to do it. And I mean, I I've considered I'm going to take this page down eventually. The reason I left it up as long as I did is because I was coming on here, and I'm sure it's going to get everyone to look at it. I want to
put an ad at the top. You'll get at least 100 more hits.
I'm sure. So I mean, yeah, it's going to go down eventually. I wasn't going to keep this up for all time.
Well, just until the next unlock. I mean, I assume you'll do this for all the unlocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Valve on the 2nd, they announced they're going to do Sniper. We discussed it briefly. Me and another guy. I'm 90% sure we're going to do it again for another unlock. And I'm actually pretty happy because now that the word about this is out, there's going to be more communities than just F7 doing this. Instead of having one server, we're going to have 5 or 10 or 15.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
I think it is.
It's like if I had a server of friends who were hackers and they used, say, the sniper scope thing all the time, and we set up a honeypot or something to catch other exploiters like that using the sniper hacks, and then we posted their things on the internet, do you think that would be hypocritical or wrong?
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, what I'm saying is if we were cheating... Mm-hmm. And we put up a list of other people cheating, mm-hmm. But not our own names. Would that be hypocritical to you?
Sure.
I mean, I guess the reason I ask you is because I know on your plugin that y'all you let people who pay F7 LANs or F7 LANs members off it. Like, you won't put them on it. Like, why is that fair?
Well, the thing is, and like I said, I listened to another podcast, and a lot of people, including you and then, said, put my name on there. I farmed. I'm proud of it. Put me on. And I won't, because that's not what the ban list is. The list that I made isn't, here's everyone who's ever farmed ever at any point in time in their life. The list is, these are people that I caught specifically in the 48-hour period this server was online. Now, no one in my community went into the server. They may or may not have farmed Scout. I don't know, and they weren't on the list. They weren't on the list because they didn't go in the server. Now, I know we definitely have people who in the past have farmed and no longer do because I think one of them did it for medic. They went out and farmed medic achievements, and they had the Uber saw in like 2 hours, and they were messing around with it. They had it, and they got bored because there was nothing to earn anymore. Well, I mean, on your website yourself, you tell people who were upset about this whole thing in your community mm-hmm.
that, secondly, you wouldn't have been banned. There's an F7 member and supporter immunity. So, you say they weren't on their farming, but why have immunity for them if that's the case? I mean, it's just, it's hypocritical well, our members can do it, but no one else can, or we'll put them on this list.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I'm not, and yeah,
that one's pretty damning, dude. I got to tell you, I'm trying to softball it, but that one's pretty damning right there. I really want to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, I'm not going to have an answer that is going to make you totally happy. The reason that it's there is I wrote this plugin. I didn't write this plugin for my community. I wrote this plugin for server admins, and it's pretty common for admin immunity, in this case root immunity, so like myself and like 2 other people, and flag immunity in the plugin. I mean,
anyone who pays you.
I'm sorry?
Or anyone who pays you.
Well, that's what I mean by a flag immunity.
Okay,
let me go ahead and pull it up, and I if you look on the release page, there's a link to it on that page on my site. I mean, it specifically says, what immunity there is. So, the reason it's there is that immunity was built into the plugin. I didn't specifically go out and say, or go out and do it to be like, okay, if you give me money, it's all right. That's not why I did it or why it happened.
Right, but it's to safeguard people who pay you money or your community for getting on the list, so you don't have to get hassled with them saying, hey, pull me off the list later. And so you can say in your thread, hey, y'all don't worry about this plugin or this mod or this ban list because y'all won't be on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, the immunity is general. It's not specific to us. So, I mean, that's that's my answer for it. And I'm like I said, I'm sure you guys, wasn't sufficient enough, but that's the reason. It was a general immunity that was built into the plugin. It wasn't specific to any one person or any group.
So I'm wondering, what are the benefits for going to your servers? Are you offering a quicker way to unlock achievements with your plugin, or are you just saying, here's 10 different box maps going on right now, and then people just join?
Our normal servers or are this Honeypot server?
The Honeypots.
When I put the server up, and it was up for this. It kind of gets misconstrued that that a lot of people think the server is still online somewhere, and it wasn't. It was online for 48 hours, running this, and it's been gone ever since. It's been gone since the 28th or whenever it was. But the server it looked like any other achievement server. It was running the Achievement Scout map. It didn't have any sort of additional plugins. It didn't help or hurt anyone doing anything at all. The only thing it said in the message of the day, like, when you connect to a server, the message of the day pops up. It says, welcome to the blah, blah, blah server, or, here's these server rules or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It said specifically in the message of the day that this is an achievement farming Honeypot server, and playing and earning achievements here will get you banned. So it's not, sure, most people don't read that, but that's not my fault.
Right.
It was there.
Well, that's fair. I was told by a friend that they went to a certain server that had something going on where they could just, type something in the main chat, and then it unlocks all of their stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely want to make a distinction that there's a huge difference between going into an achievement box and grinding out achievements and going into one of these servers that's running a plugin like this, that as of a couple of blog posts ago, Valve said that you've got your achievements docked, or your achievements removed and your weapons docked for a couple of weeks or a month. That is using an exploit basically in the Steam Cloud system, where this server is running a plugin that mimics the signals that TF2 normally sends to the cloud server. And
which is
instead
against
of saying,
the TOS.
I'm sorry?
Which is against the TOS, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's a definite difference there. There's actually
that's cheating.
Yeah, and
they took care of it when they cheated. Mm-hmm.
And see, I would attack those people. I would say we don't want those guys in any community, because they're people that are going against the TOS altogether. So let's get on Valve's side and
let Valve take care of it, because see, at that point Valve took care of it and they took back whatever and punished them however.
Yeah.
Maybe someone got in there by accident and didn't know, it was an issue or an exploit, whatever. But Valve took care of it in a way that took it away. Now they'll have to go and farm them, the proper way. Right. Whatever that is. Though some people think it's proper to farm one way and some people think it's proper to farm another way. I personally would rather people go to achievement server and farm them on there than come to my server and sit there and spam their dang kill emote just to try to get their unlock, and therefore my team loses.
Right. And it comes down to admin personal preference. Like, that is entirely up to you guys. This is, you guys, the players who play at your servers can play the way you guys want players at your servers to be, but F7 has said we do not want people who farm. And that's it.
And I understand that. And that is totally cool. But to put up a page to tell everybody else in the world that these people are cheaters, when Valve, the company who makes the game, says they're not cheaters, put up a picture of Chris Hansen, for God's sake, to try to, equate the two somehow, and then go in there and tell them why these people are cheaters. To me, that is just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that is up to you. The Chris Hansen picture is supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be, hey, look, because I don't know what you think about To Catch a Predator. I think what they're doing is right. I think that, child predators should be behind bars. I think the show is completely ridiculous, and I think it's funny. Things that happen in that show, especially the people who get arrested on that show, are hilarious.
But do you think these people cheating are funny and hilarious?
No.
So why would you try to equate the two that way? You wouldn't. You know, the reason to equate those two is because you want these people to look like dirty pervs, basically.
Well, that is not why I put it up there. And I mean, if someone wants to think that, then they can. There's nothing I can do or say.
Well, that's what I think. I mean, I see this page and all I see someone who's, I mean, it seems like you're angry at these people and you want them to get banned from all servers and you want them to get harassed. I mean, that's what I see when I look at this page. And a lot of people that I talk to see the same thing.
A lot of people all the people I've talked to, all the people in our community, you know, and even people who don't. So,
well, like the Allied modders, they unapproved your mod, didn't they?
Well, that is a
truth.
Situation. No, they did. Originally, it was approved,
right, because everything gets approved there as long as it works for the most part. And your mod does work, but they came back and finally said this destroys communities, and they unapproved it.
No, it got.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
No, it is not. It got unapproved because I'm trying to pull it up so that I can look at exactly what the mod's post was. He said that, you know, there was, you know, the thread is like 8 or 9 pages long, and he says that I reported everybody's post who was disagreeing with me, which is not true. I reported these 2 or 3 posts which were just straight up spam, flame attacks, completely unhelpful, and he unapproved it for that reason.
Here, I'll read you what he says. This is from Roach. Okay, that's quite enough. First off, msleeper, don't go reporting posts that you just agree with your point of view. I have had plenty of reported posts from this thread, and I'm sick of them, and seemingly all come from you. You seemingly don't like the fact that people are so heavily critical of your plugin in your thread. Frankly, I think that this is the place to be critical of your plugin. The post before mine is not spam, and he makes a point, albeit a very over-the-top point. So here's the judgment handed down from above. 1, just because the plugin works does not mean it automatically gets approved and stays approved. Furthermore, 2, this plugin encourages empty servers for the sole purposes of catching people hacking. There's just one issue with this. Nobody is hacking. The game has an open platform for all users to farm these achievements, and just because you do not like it does not mean that we have to approve a plugin that basically distorts the game for the purpose of catching people doing something which you view unfair. You have the ability to join a farming server and farm, as does everyone else. It's not hacking at all if the achievements are being gained inside of an achievement server. This plugin encourages inappropriate activity. In case you haven't noticed, Genius, this plugin encourages farming. If you don't want people to farm, don't make the servers in the first place. People are playing the game. It was made to be played. Are you going to go, you know, it goes on and on, after people that startups, you know, but that's basically it. I mean,
no, I realize that. And you know, there's still just a couple of things is that 1, I don't say anyone's hacking, and I'm not saying that farming is worse than or equal to hacking.
Well, you're saying they're cheaters, though. So how are they cheating? And they're not.
It's cheating the same way that before Valve fixed them, you would go underneath the floor in Granary. It's cheating in the same way.
It is not. It's an exploit.
And I think that this is exploiting the achievement system.
Then why doesn't Valve go back and fix it so you can't do it?
Because they can't. They're a company. They can't say, okay.
Like they didn't fix everybody who exploited and took off their unlocks after they got them. No, they did, because they consider that exploiting. They say specifically in an article that this is not exploiting or cheating.
I know that.
Okay, if you know that, then why are you calling them cheaters?
Because that is our opinion.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Fundamentally, the company says they're not cheaters, so they're not cheaters.
Well, let's backtrack a second, just for one comment here. I think, you know, where it comes down to is you seem to view the word cheating as being a little softer than Brent does, or, you know, probably even me. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, doing this dual medic Ubersaw thing is lame. It's weak, but it's not cheating. And, right. You know, that's kind of the way that...
I think that is hilarious. Whenever someone can pull that off, I think it's the best thing that happens the whole match.
but I guess, you know, that's mainly, you know, and one of the reasons why we want to talk to you is I don't think anybody here looks at the word cheater and thinks that it's that's what's going on with achievement farming. And I really don't know many people who do. The thing is, and I'll, you know, I was a dork in high school, but I was like normal enough to where I could, like fit in with the normal people, but still be a dork. But I was in a very precarious place in that I was the constant source. All it took was one little rumor, and either group would turn on me, because I was in the middle. And I'm particularly sensitive to the idea of my name being spread around with a moniker on it that I don't think is appropriate for me. And I'm not saying I got on there or that I'm on your list, but if I was, it's an itchy on the back of the neck thing that there's somebody out there who's getting called a cheater and doesn't deserve it. Because I think that term is a little more harsh than you do.
Well, it's like you said, that guy got achievement for all the scouts coming in, the heavy. What if he had gone in the achievement box because he hated these people, getting the unlocks before him? So he went on and he got an achievement for killing too many scouts. He would be put on that list. Yeah,
I mean, okay.
So why not ban them as soon as they enter the server, if it's just an achievement?
Because accidents definitely, that's actually been asked a lot. And the accidents happen. You click on a server you thought you were going to, and you either misclick or you get redirected, which is an entirely separate subject, or, one of 100 different things. Or like I said, there was someone who was new to the game, didn't know what was going on, went to this server and didn't mean to, and they messaged me and I took them off. Now, Eric, I'm trying to go back and remember what you said. You said something I wanted to respond to, but
Okay.
As far as, using the term cheating more softly, the bottom line is that server administrators determine what's right and what's wrong. I remember very clearly quite some time ago, I was on a server with a friend of mine. Long story short, there was another person on our team. He was an engineer, and he set up defenses further back than everyone else. And we were on like some linear push map, and we were way on the other side of the map. Well, one of the admins just got really pissed at this guy. He said, "Oh, what are you doing? You need to move that stuff up, blah, blah, blah." And the guy was like, "It's backline D. I don't want to destroy all the stuff I just built." Mm-hmm. And he gets kicked from the server for that. Now, is that right? Was this person, cheating or whatever the admin said? No, it's admin preference. It is server admin preference.
Right, but he didn't go out and put a page up that said this guy's cheating, ban him from your server after that.
I don't know that. Maybe he did.
No, I'm pretty sure he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he didn't either.
I mean, if you could show me the page where he did, that'd be awesome. But I don't think he did. And that's what I'm saying. I don't care who you kick or ban from your servers. That's like you said, that's admin preference. I know some of our mods kick people for idiotic reasons, and I have to tell them to quit doing it. It happens, but that's our server. We can run it how we want. Your servers are how you are. You can run them how you want. My problem is solely with that website, just solely with that page, and you trying to start a witch hunt on these people.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay,
and I know you don't feel the same way about achievement farming. But let's for a moment assume you do. You dislike people who farm and you want to stop farming. How would you go about doing that? There's no way to differentiate someone who earns their unlocks legitimately and illegitimately. And this was the best solution we came up with.
Well, that's where that's where we're running into the main problem. I hate snipers. I hate spies. I don't like them. Okay, I would prefer they be removed from the game. Okay, but for me to attempt to control the game and how it's being managed, the issue you said is whether the achievements were earned legitimately or illegitimately. And Valve has stated there is no illegitimate way to earn an achievement through activity. That all achievements earned that way are legitimate. And my whole thing is, if I were to, start, saying, I mean, given a lot of this is voluntary, so I understand just as much as anybody, it's hard to tell other people, but it's easy to create hysteria with lists like this. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for especially a young server admin, to easily grab a hold of a lot of this stuff, that makes them feel more potent or more powerful. And it's not necessarily the best way to create community in our TF2 community.
Right. And, like I said, there's if someone wants to pull the list, then that is their prerogative. It may or may not be right for you. It may or may not be good for you. So it is entirely up to us, to a server administrator.
I think it's clear that we all have different definitions for the word cheater, right. And the website kind of dooming to me too. It kind of looks like, I don't know, like pushing religion to someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like instead of giving them the facts and letting them decide, it looks like you're saying these guys are definitely cheaters. Let's have them never play Team Fortress 2 again.
Yeah.
And
I don't know when you guys first saw this page. Like the first time that it came up the night of the release. It had definitely a lot more heated verbiage to it, and I've since pulled.
So you cut it down.
So I cut it down. Truth be told, if I had known, I had no idea this was going to turn into, the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, I've written a lot of mods. I've done a lot of other stuff like that. And now all of a sudden, something that I thought initially was just very small and very insignificant, it turned into the hugest thing in the world. So had I known, like in the past, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have put the list up, or I would have totally removed any verbiage like that and just had straight up, Steam IDs. These are people that farmed.
Well, here's a question. Since you say you're going to plan on doing this again with future unlocks, would it be as effective if you didn't use the word cheater and was maybe a little more light about it, and maybe I don't know, like contact me for the ban list? Maybe not have it public or something like that. Like, would that be as effective? Do you think? Part of me even wonders if it's even going to be necessary to put up the ban list publicly again, because now everyone knows that this is out there, and I guarantee you, the first time, even if a community that is not ours running this, is the next time someone gets banned from an achievement server, they're going to go running to our site. Which is funny and unfortunate, but what do you do? But yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna make a page again for when Sniper comes out, or any of the further ones. Yeah. I don't think it'll be necessary. We'll definitely have a ban list available somewhere. I don't know if it'll be available on my site. Which I've tried to point out to people that the reason that this page is not my personal site and not my community site is to try and distance that a little bit. I didn't really ever think that was going to happen, but I still tried. So assuming that I do put up a list again, and I don't think I will, I'm definitely going to reword things a bit. To try and keep the heat down.
I think that's smart. I think that there is a constructive way to do this that doesn't involve the word cheater.
Right.
I think if you were to make a consortium of non-farming servers, I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that even people who if it was a consortium of non-farming servers and you got together and said, we'd like to make this group and nobody on any of our servers is going to farm achievements, and we're going to put up honeypots, and we'd like other people who use farming servers to let us know and put their mod on, because we'd prefer to just play. I don't have any problem with that. I do think that there is that putting a list of supposed cheaters creates hostility that doesn't need to be there. And I definitely,
like I said, any sort of that was all completely unintentional. And again, if I had known in hindsight, if I had realized, I definitely would have played things differently. And I think that having this like you said, a consortium of I don't know what a good word for it would be, but like you said, servers that disallow farming, I think that's a good idea. But it comes back to the problem of how do you exactly determine who does and who doesn't do it? And unfortunately, there's no easy way to do it.
Right.
All right, we have the honeypot running, and hopefully it'll work, and so far it has. And
I think that the primary thing it's going to do, though, I don't think it's going to reduce the amount of farming from randoms. What it's going to do is it's going to make people more insular in their farming. So like, people in CP will now only come to a CP server to farm their achievements.
Out of fear.
Yeah, but at the same time, those are the community members. Those are the people. It's the randoms that are farming that I think are the real issue. So I'm really not sure how well the Honeypot works to accomplish anything other than to get, the randoms off your server.
Which is perfectly fine.
Okay.
The weeks after the Scout update, which was running this 3,500 strong list, we had zero difference in traffic, and we had increased traffic for a while, I assume because of the release, but this had no effect on our traffic. People who were banned by this definitely got blocked out. There's on our administrative page we have a list of failed connection attempts, and it lists their ban reason, and people were definitely stopped. Some people posted unbanned requests, some people didn't. We definitely went down, as many of the right paths, I think, as we could have.
What kind of backlash have you gotten? Have you gotten hate mails or DOSs or anything?
We did not get DOS. We got threatened to, and thankfully myself and the other guy who runs F7, he runs F7 really more than I do on a more base level. He does our physical server administration. He and I are smart enough to be able to know what to do to stop stuff like that. In fact, we still might be currently. We had people try to brute force our FTP for weeks. They were trying to break in. We had people post on our forums to spam, to troll, to do whatever. There was a 30-something page thread on the Steam forums about this that I didn't even start. Wasn't even shown it until about halfway through of it. And it was just people being just completely ridiculous. Someone said that, and this is probably my favorite stupidity out of all of this, is someone said that I was violating their constitutional rights by running the Honeypot and putting up their name. That's and deep. Like that is just so retarded. But yeah, people were on our forums. Some people threatened to grief on our servers. I don't think that happened. We're pretty active. All of our admins are really active, so I don't think anyone had a chance to. God, what else happened? I got so much spam in my contact page. Like at one point I just had to just wipe it all, and I didn't even want to read through it because, I skimmed through most of it, and like some people were just, I guess, made a script to just spam it over and over and whatever. I just wiped all of that. There was just a ton of stuff. And like I said, had I known any of that was going to happen, I definitely would have gone about things differently, because it was not my intention to. It wasn't my intention to draw attention positively or negatively to my community, to myself, to anything. I just did this I wrote the plugin to help other communities, and I put the ban list up so that other admins who may want to use this could.
Well, okay.
Do you give people this plugin? Can anyone get this from you and run it on their own server?
They can go to the Allied Mods page and download it right now. If they want to. Okay. If anyone does want to, I would suggest waiting until the next update. It's kind of pointless to do it right now. Someone had asked me if they can run it on a normal server, and I guess in theory you could. And I posted this in reply to the Allied Mods thread. I guess in theory you could. I wouldn't recommend it. I've never tested it that way. I definitely think you're going to get people who are not farming but are still, who are earning achievements legitimately. Because it's pretty, especially when an update comes out, it's easy to get them in normal play in pretty rapid succession. So I think that it would, I think you get a lot more false negatives running it on a normal server. But anyone who wants to run this can go to Allied Modders. It has very detailed installation instructions. It's real simple to set up, and I've tried to reiterate this. again, saying running on a normal server, this is not meant for normal servers. This is meant for a server set up specifically to look like or really be a normal achievement server. You don't want to put 2 Fort on this or Dust Bowl or whatever. You want to put an achievement map on here so that people who would farm would go there.
Just out of curiosity, what does the code dictate or is too many achievements to get in how short a time?
Again,
is that proprietary?
there's no real way to be like, okay, someone who gets 5 achievements in 10 minutes, 30 minutes must be cheating. Because a friend of mine loves Scout. He has just a ton of hours of Scout. It's his favorite class. He got all the unlocks on our 2 Fort server. Or he got all the unlocks, not all the achievements, but he got all the unlocks on our 2 Fort server in the first night. He was up all night and he did it. It took him like 6 hours to do it, but he got all of them. And I'm sure that in the span of, 60 minutes, he got 5, 6, 7 of them in a row or in that period of time. So from a program stance, like, how do you differentiate what is right and what is not? And you can try and set up, okay, this many people in this period of time is bad. But again, I think you're going to get more false negatives, or excuse me, false positives than using a Honeypot server.
Well, let me ask you this. If someone were to set up a Honeypot server, does it update your ban list or does it create your own?
No, it only does theirs.
Okay.
The list that I made was only for our servers. If someone else runs it, it will only do it for their servers.
Right.
And so there's no active, or rather there's no automated sharing of ban lists.
Okay.
I have talked to 1 or 2 people about when the next update comes out, setting up a common shared ban list and running that. I guess time will tell if that actually comes through or if that'll work. But to answer your question, no. Anyone else running this list, they are only banned from their servers. They are not added to this list. They are not banned from our servers. They're separate.
There's a good question from the chat room from Mint Condition. He was wondering if you had ever been banned from another server as a retaliation.
I have the luxury of having a decently sized community and a lot of friends. So truth be told, I haven't played on any other servers in quite a while.
Okay.
I would not be surprised. Again, in that huge Steam forums thread, about halfway through, someone posted my Steam ID. And I mean, that information is very easy to get. Like anyone's Steam ID can be found one of 100 ways. But like some people are like, add him to your ban list, add him to any bands you have available, blah, blah, blah. So if I were to go out and you just, I guess, basically try and connect to servers, I would not be surprised if I would be. People just were just so polarized about this and took it to such an extreme that I can't understand. But as far as I know, I don't have proof, but I'm sure someone somewhere did.
Okay. Let's see. I'm looking at a couple of questions here from the chat room. LASD asked, do you have reserved slots on your server?
Yes, we do.
You do?
Is there more to that question?
No, that was it. I guess that's a big topic. We've talked about it.
S7 Lands runs reserved slots. They are really cheap. We have fast servers. Blah, 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 advertisement.
And then you can farm achievements if you get on that reserved list. Don't forget that. It's a big selling point.
Well, see, I mean, if you... all right, I'm not even going to respond.
Well, because it's true, right? I mean... Or the other option is just after snipers, we'll put up in a couple achievement servers that'll be CP achievement, and we won't give out your IP to anyone or your Steam ID.
Yeah,
great.
And we you knew you were walking into a little bit of a firefight, and we appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
I mean, I'm sure you've had to put up with a lot of this.
Yeah, if you're about to change subjects, there's something else that I wanted to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like I said, I listened to that podcast from you guys a while ago, and where Brent mentions that quite some time ago he was banned for using his spray, and I wanted to I don't know, maybe clear that up a little bit between me and him and anyone else who's listening.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this.
I'm sure you know all about it, right, Brent?
Yes, that you banned me for using my spray. Yes.
Yeah. I pulled up the information on it, and it was October 23rd. It was at 1:38, and I don't know. I looked at it, and it says you didn't even try to reconnect. I don't know if that got mislogged. I don't remember because it was so long ago. But you were not permanently banned. It was only a 2-hour ban. And in the podcast, you say, huh?
And what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, well, if
someone bans you from their server, that's permanent in my mind. It's kind of like a screw you too. I'm not going to come back on purposefully, especially after not doing anything.
And that's fine. I think that I think a lot of players would share a mindset like that. But I guess something that I don't know if you've. I don't know what rules you guys have on your servers. I don't know what you guys have had to deal with stuff. But, on our server, we run all talk. We have a lot more casual of an atmosphere. And, to I guess, look at it from my perspective on this, he was one guy out of, I think we had 22,000 players the last time we reset our stats, and here you are, you put up an advertisement spray. I asked you to take it down or whatever it is I said. Now, I don't really remember.
Well, you didn't say anything out loud because I caught something in like typed chat when I finally saw something. And then when I tried to respond, I was dead and couldn't. And you're like, oh, not going to respond. And you abandoned me at that point.
Well, like I
said. And then I sent you an email all about it saying, maybe you want to take a lighter hand on people, or at least if you're going to ban someone, to talk to them in voice chat to make sure they understand and know what's going on.
Right. And I mean, I don't remember, so I'm going to take your word on this. Like I said, All Talk is on 99.9% of the time on our servers. So if you did try to use voice, it would have came over. But I
typed it out because, I don't think All Talk was on, or at least no one was, you weren't talking to me. Right. Except for in chat. So I tried to respond in chat to you.
I'm going to take your word on it. It was... I don't remember when or the exact details. It was like 6-8 months ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
The point is that as server administrators, and I know that from what I've gleaned, you guys don't really take a super active administrative stance on your servers. Is that right?
Well, we have admins who do stuff. We're doing multiple podcasts. We don't play as much as we used to, right. So we have multiple.
No, yeah, I understand that. So I guess they'll probably be able to empathize a bit more. Is that as an administrator, you can't really make everything a special case. You have to really use broad strokes on stuff like this. And so that is that's the situation that happened here. I saw some guy, never seen him before in my life. You put up a spray. I asked you to remove it. I will assume something.
I don't know how to remove a spray once it's sprayed unless I spray it somewhere else. I mean, but that's just me.
And like I said, I'm not going to argue about the details because I don't remember. But I mean, the bottom line is that, I had to make a decision. I want to play the game too. I don't want to sit there and spend 15 minutes saying, okay, you can't do this and here's why. And invariably, people who do things want to respond and get their retort in. And I want to play the game too. I can't bother dealing with everyone.
Well, but I understand. You can't be bothered to find out what the truth is. Just ban them and go on with your server. And I understand. It's the same issue with your page. Screw these people. They cheat farm it. Ban them. Great.
And really, the issue here is that, if you were to come on our servers and put up an F7 banner, promoting your forums, we'd be like, hey, community info.
Yeah, but we're different. We're kind of a different sort, I think. But I agree, we wouldn't ban you just for,
unless there was that Tub Girl. If you had F7 and Tub Girl, we'd probably ban you. But
right,
and even then, we probably would just wipe your spray and don't use that again. But on the whole, to us, TF2 community is TF2 community, and pointing out where good community is part of what is good community. And, we try to mention, the things that go on, with other, like we mentioned Ubercharged a lot because they're a great, benefit to the community. And if somebody were to come put an Ubercharged spray, on your server, would that make you mad?
I would. You kind of mentioned it that, someone sees a spray or whatever and they're like, oh, community information. And I agree with that. And it still comes down to, whether it be you guys or Ubercharged, which is a good site, whatever it comes down to, the community information gets, to a lot of random pubbers, gets really confused. Because let's say that, okay, someone's on my server, they see the spray, they're like, hey, these servers are fun, I like the people that are here. I want to come back, let me go check out their site. Oh, look, here's, ubercharge.net. Let me go log into their site and start posting on their forum. Well, I just lost a player because someone posted someone else's community information. That's not to say that what they posted was bad, that the site may be completely right, but you lose people like that.
Well, but you don't need to worry about losing people from your community if you're a good community. The only time you got to worry about that is when you're not a good community, and that's what's
yeah. And I mean, it comes down to the same thing. It's I'm not super worried about it. If someone posts, I know that what I usually do whenever that happens, I'd be like, hey, listen, please don't spray that. The only time actually I really even care is when there's a web URL in it, because that is, like I said, when people start going to other sites, when they think they're playing on one server, they go to the wrong site, they get they get sent somewhere else.
And we just come from, we just have to agree to disagree on this, because we come from two different things. You want people to come to your servers and pay and help fund the servers and keep it, and that's great. We want people to learn about TF2 and the community, no matter if it's on our servers or somewhere. So we just want them to have fun and listen to our podcast too.
You entirely missed what I said. That is entirely not the point at all.
Well, but why would you? I mean, there is a legitimate question in that. Why would you be worried about somebody going to another community and using their servers? I mean, that's how more people develop better skills. I know I've learned a lot by going to another server and people are doing certain things, and I'm like, ooh, that's a good strategy. I should use that. That kind of cross pollination is healthy for the game.
Right. I'm not saying it isn't, but but I'm also not saying that, oh, we want as many people on our servers to give us as much money as possible. Like, that is not what I said at all.
That's what I heard. It was we lose a customer. That's basically what you said. No, and we lose a chance for some. Or why would you want them on your server?
Because we try to build a community. You guys do try to inform the TF2 community. You do try to to do all that. You guys run podcasts and everything. We don't do that. We are a gaming community. People come here to play, to play with our players, to, like you said, cross-pollination. We have people who play on our servers and other servers. We have members and admins who do play on other servers. I'm not saying that I want everyone in the entire world to play specifically in our little corner of the internet, but we do try and build a community. We have game every Friday night. We do what we call Midnight Marble Madness, where instead of playing fun, casual, semi-serious TF2, we do just off the wall, low gravity, fun.
A bunch of cheating. Can we get a list of these people?
I know. We want to know all these low gravity people.
We are very against low grav.
Well,
I don't know if we mentioned that.
Let's stick around Friday nights then. It gets really crazy.
No. I want the list of people. We want to make sure we put them with Chris Hansen.
It's under TF2 stats. There's about 18,000 people.
Awesome. Well, I think we beat this to death.
And again, we appreciate you coming on. You knew you were going to be under a little bit of fire. Our main issue, at least with me, is I don't like the word cheater being used for things that aren't necessarily defined as cheating in the game, or even against what appears to be the spirit of the game. And if there's any way that kind of perception can be minimized the next time you do this, I fully support you creating a community of non-farming servers. And, I even support you putting up a honeypot. And if you put the thing at the beginning that says people who farm achievements on this server will not be allowed on the following servers, and provide a list of all those servers that are in your community, I think you'd be doing the community a favor.
Well, I absolutely think that's a great idea. I mean, if I'll take that in consideration, and I think that'll get across really well. If anyone who who is interested, they know how to contact me through whatever pages.
And my only issue is the website. I could care less if you run the Honeypot.
I honestly, truly do understand that. And again, in hindsight, if I would have known all this would have happened, if I would have known there would have been this huge negative reaction, I expected negative reaction, but I didn't expect, 2 or 3 dozen websites posting information about it. I didn't expect a 34-page Steam thread about it. I didn't expect to come onto a TF2 podcast about it.
Talk for almost an hour.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome. So what I'm hearing is maybe you'll take that website down and not post any more people's, Steam IDs for cheating in the future. And I'd look forward to seeing
being
that.
a little lighter about it.
And the bottom line is that this was for us. And if someone wants to farm, that is completely their prerogative. We're trying to make our servers our own and trying to make our servers different from everyone else's. Part of the way we do that is by disallowing people who farm. That's how you make a good community. You stand out. You make a difference. You be different. So.
If I'd even be willing to say that if you were willing to reclassify how you put cheaters, we'd even put your mod, maybe even when we're farming achievements, we will participate in making sure the people that farm on our servers will not be allowed on yours if it is a 30-day ban and everything is announced.
No, we won't.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I don't put unapproved mods on our server.
Well, whether it's a brave idea or a stupid idea, I think it's cool that you're very active and you're creating a community. You're doing a lot more for TF2 than just playing it. And one thing's for sure, you're creating a lot of controversy. And you've been very cool and calm on this show.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for coming on.
Not a problem.
Where are we going to go from here? We really didn't plan much.
Is there where to go from here?
I don't know.
Actually, I guess we can take a little short break and meanwhile listen to a milkshake tune. How about that?
Okay.
Sounds like a good idea.
We're not going to do listener contributions today because, obviously we don't want to be here for 4 hours. So let's go kick out a tune from Milkshake. I Drink Your Milkshake. And he says, hey guys, Milkshake here. Well, it's here. The Milkshake tune collaboration is done and ready to hear. This collaboration features the voice talents of Elusian, Randominiasha, Pinellini, Johnny Napalm, and Clyde Frog.
Do you know how to read?
No, I don't. I just pretend. So here it is.
It's 8 p.m. on a working day. Bunch of noobs logging in. There's a medic standing next to me, loading up his blood saga again.
So son, could you blow up a sentry? I've got pretty hurt where it goes, but it's red and it's neat and it's built up complete by some guy in engineer's clothes. La 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 dee da, la la dee da da. Sing us a song, Mr.Demoman. Sing us a song, you hunk. Well, we're all in the mood for some scotch right now, and you got us feeling all drunk.
a friend of mine. He does my spy checks for free. And he's good with an axe. Oh, he'll watch your back. But there's some place that he'd rather be.
He says, man, this is all I'm good for. As the rocket came straight from his head. Well, I'm sure I could be on the stores if nobody wanted me dead. Oh, la la da da da, la la da 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 da.
Now Sniper's a right crazy gunman who never abandons his turf. And he's talking with Soldier, who's still getting over that outrageous rocket count nerf.
In a minute, sprint to some melee kills. And spies all slowly get on. Yeah, they're playing at Matt McCold Doodle too. This bear played a while.
Sing us a song, Mr.Demoman. Sing us a song, you hunk. Well, we're all in the mood for some scotch right now, and you've got us feeling all drunk.
It's a pretty good crowd to blow up right now, and the heavy gives me a glare. And he knows that it's me who blew up his sentry, so he sends in his half-medic pair.
At the explosion it sounds like a sticky bomb, and the giblets smell like beer. So they all looked around and guess what they found, and say, Demo, what you doing here? Oh, la la la, da-dee-da. La la da 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 da. Sing us a song, Mr.Demoman. Sing us a song, you hunk. Well, we're all in the mood for some scotch right now, and you've got us feeling all drunk.
Yay!
Nice.
Good work, everyone. Okay, surveillance. We have just one thing here. Pandemonium posted this in the forums. It's a link to a video starring Gary Schwartz, who does the voice of the Heavy and the Demoman. Have you seen these?
No.
Oh, it's so cool actually seeing him. And so there's two videos there, one him doing the Heavy and one of him doing the Demoman. A few neat little credits in his resume. He also did the voice in Left 4 Dead for... he did the airport runaway radio voice. Does that ring any bells? Because it doesn't for me. He also did No One Lives Forever 2. Remember?
I never played that game.
Oh, you never played it?
No.
He did the voice of Mimes in NOF 2. And also he has a lot of credits, but I just wrote down 2 or 3. He also did Doc Freud in 3 episodes of the 1989 hit show, The Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Really? That poor guy.
I loved that show when I was little. And I went and bought some on DVD even.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's so bad now.
Oh God, it's terrible. It was terrible then.
Oh, it was great then.
No, it was not.
Well, anyway, so I would recommend not watching it now. But if you find yourself in a time warp, go check that out in 1989. So we're going to go out here, and we're going to get caught up next week with tons and tons of listener contributions. We got a pile.
Listener contribution show?
Probably so.
Next week.
So no discussion?
No discussion. Just listener contributions next week.
Yeah. We got tons of songs and tons of everything. Questions and comment. A lot of call-ins, too, that are really cool. Anyway, so after this show, check out a new song by AshWilliams, and he wanted me to say this, that I should explain on the show that this is a tale between AshWilliams and Wes Wilson playing Turbine roughly a week ago. And it is titled Story of a Steamroll. Stop Pissing Me Off. And it's really good. So check that out after the show. And, that'll do it. Next week, episode 71. And don't forget to check out lowpings.net. It's good stuff. We have 2 of their servers. It's working great for us. The interface is nice and clean. Super good stuff. So that's lowpings.net.
Yeah, or you can just click the ad from our website, too.
Yeah, do that.
Deadworkers.com/network.
Yeah, that'll work.
Our community.
Yeah, so.
Be sure to leave comments on episodes 50 and 69. We'd like to fill them up with comments.
Yeah, and if you didn't realize it, 50 really does exist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just go and download it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Cool. See you next time.
You are now at the end of another episode of Control Point.
Victory.
Every one of you deserves a medal.
A podcast brought to you by the Dead Workers Party. See the show notes and leave comments for this episode at controlpoint.deadworkers.com or leave us a voicemail at area code 256-513-4772.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Hey, CP, this is Vector, and I thought I'd call in with a few new ways of looking at the Scout's new energy drink unlock. First off, try viewing it as more of a means of entry than a way to get away. Use a sentry for dynamic entry into bases by utilizing Bonk and using its pushback to get new, exciting ways to get into the base without getting hit. Another fun thing to do is, if you see an unexpected engineer, get behind him with Bonk and watch the sentry kill him. Another little fun thing to do if you've got snipers on your team and annoying heavy, run up to him and start running circles around him. Watch him be confused and get his head blown off. Works every time. Thought I'd just give those tips and have fun.
Hey guys, this is me, Paul Henderson. I think I might have an account on the forum under the name Bonsai77, but I'm going to give you guys my real name anyways because I'm that cool. Anyways, I discovered a neat little trick with the Force of Nature. I don't know if this has any use whatsoever, but it freaked me out a little bit, so I decided to share it with you guys. Anyways, if you ever try using the Force of Nature when you're in midair, looking straight up, instead of launching you straight directly into the ground like you think it would, it defies all logic, and it decides that it wants to jump you up anyways. So, yeah, it turns out the Force of Nature can actually double as a vacuum. Try using it on those ghosts. Or zombie spies. That's all.
Hey guys, go by Green Gecko on Steam, and also have been listening for about 2 weeks. You guys are awesome. I was listening to episode 60, and I came across the bit where you guys were talking about why the red team always defends and the blue team always attacks. And it was an interesting conversation, but when the question was asked, it dawned on me that it would make a lot more sense for it to be the other way around, because the blue team is the building company, and the red team is the destruction company. Just wanted to let you guys think on that. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
I always thought I'd be the guy to see you through until the end of time. The end of time. Just me and my motley crew of soldiers, demo men, and pyros too. And pyros too. But then we had a map change and the teams, oh, they stayed the same. Stat the same as last game. These steamrolls are driving me insane. rage quit on Turbine. I'm sorry, Wes, but it was just the time to say farewell. And plus you kept on teasing me. I mean, seriously, what the hell? What the hell? And I quote, "There's these guys on the other team, and I want you to shoot at them, please." And that's what she said. Wes, why don't you shut up? I kind of understand that, you jackass. Seriously, stop pressuring me. All you're doing is make me want to run out there and get you killed because you keep making fun of me, and I'm already having a bad night. I mean, I've been on the losing side of a steamroll for 2 hours now, and your teasing is making me play worse, which makes you tease me more. It's a vicious cycle, and if you were just constructive, maybe we'd win instead of you just pissing me off. Stop pissing me off.
Dead Workers Party Network, jumping one shark at a time.